and experts to help you navigate and prosper in your business. It's all about creating wealth, legacy, and an online presence. Here's your host, Ceanne Livingston.
Hi, and welcome back to the Big Money Influencer. I'm speaking with Chris Angell. I'm so excited because he's going to share a wealth of information with you about pivoting, building business, and finding your voice. Chris specializes in helping his clients find their voice so that they can share their message in a more clear, precise way. Welcome, Chris. So in a nutshell, what do you do?
In a nutshell, in the short version, I help people find the message they really want to share with the world. There's a lot of things you could pick up in marketing and things you think you have to say, but there are some things your soul really wants to say to the world through your business. And that's what I help people do. Once they find the message, then it's just about building programs around that message so that you can help people with the transformation you're trying to help them with.
That's awesome. That's so foundational.
It sounds so simple, but it's so much harder, a lot of time to get to that place. And if you can work with somebody who has figured out some ways to do it, it just makes the journey so much easier.
Absolutely. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. Speaking of messaging, who is it that you actually help? Do you have like an ideal client that you usually work with?
I have a group of people that tend to gravitate or resonate with what my message is. Anybody who is heart-centered, people who have a spiritual connection, those people tend to resonate with my content simply because that's where I live from. I live from a place of, I don't try to trick anybody in marketing. I want to help people, serve people. I want to change the world. Other people that have a heart for the same thing tend to gravitate. If you looked in industries that I think attract those kinds of people are the coaching industry, healing industry, but it's not limited to that. That's why you could call it authentic people, authentic entrepreneurs. Yeah, people who really value being a human and want to help other people be more human also.
That seems to be kind of like a trait with most of the interviews, people really wanting to serve and help others and that being such an important element in creating wealth.
I think it was Zig Ziglar years ago said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can get what you want. If you apply that to wealth, then ultimately to the degree you build a business that really helps people and provides value versus just selling something, the wealthier you can become. So
when someone comes to you, what is their ultimate problem? What is the biggest problem that you solve?
A lot of it is around clarity, because the people that I work with, when they're stepping into being a coach, for example, or a healer or something, they're stepping into their life's work. So this is not their first career. This is typically the second career, the life's work career. And when they step into that, it's just a whole new world. They don't know who they are in it yet because their identity was really formed in a previous life, a previous career. So a lot of it is helping them get clear about what has life taught you. And when you start to get clear about what life has taught you, you can start to find your confidence and your conviction in your message. Because if you feel like an outsider, you're never going to have a confident message because you're always going to feel like you're not there. You're like, I'm not good enough yet. I haven't done this very long. If you look back on life and see all the life history and lived experience you have, all of a sudden you start to find these places of conviction and confidence that you can speak from. And that's really the biggest problem people have when they've decided to do business for themselves, but they don't know what they're doing next. They're like, okay, I'm going to do it, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. So many people come out of the business world where they're working at like a 9-to-5 job and they have this idea of like, oh, I'm going to go work for myself and get time freedom and money freedom. And it takes a lot of work to run a company.
Yeah. There's so much we don't see. It's so cool. I mean, it's amazing to have your freedom. The reason I got into real estate at 24, that's how I got into business for myself. But I didn't do it because I had always wanted to be a real estate agent. I did it because I wanted time freedom. I wanted income opportunities. I wanted to make my own schedule. Like it was all the stuff we hear about when you get into being in business for yourself. And I had no clue what was required to actually build a business. I have had many dark nights of the soul in the last 20 years of business, trying to always iterate to the next level of where I'm going. But if you do that without knowing who you are, it's really hard.
That's so true. That's true in any industry, in life in itself. It's like knowing your calling or your purpose.
Yeah,
definitely a huge answer to success in life. So you talked about real estate. Were you an agent or were you an investor?
I sold real estate for 6.5 years. And then I was a CEO for a real estate company. So I had 200 agents in my office and did that for 5 years. Was a national trainer for a national real estate company that everybody would know the name to. So I did a lot in the industry. And Because I started at 24, I felt like I really kind of grew up in the real estate industry.
Learn the secrets entrepreneurs can use to create wealth and legacy. Discover exactly how the top 1% are building financial success, wealth, and a legacy quickly in their business. These are the only secrets you need to create wealth and legacy when it comes to building your online presence. When you visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com, you will get free access to the exclusive Big Money Influencers Live business kit. It teaches proven secret strategies that successful entrepreneurs are using daily to create wealth and legacy in their business. Foolproof methods established business owners are using to live and build wealth and legacy. We know you're busy, so we have convenient audios, which include foolproof methods established business owners use to build wealth and legacy. Easy to follow binder notes. And if you're ready to 10x your online presence or ready to take your business online, you can book a call and discover how to get started. Visit bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com. That's bigmoneyinfluencerlive.com.
Because I started at 24, I felt like I really kind of grew up in the real estate industry. Now I'm 45 and I've been doing my own coaching consulting company for the last 10 years, since 2011.
When you were doing real estate, did you bump elbows with like a lot of opportunities for investing?
I got into it because I wanted to learn how to invest. And I got so what's the word, enamored with the business side of it that I never moved towards the investing side of it. It's funny now because my wife and I are now revisiting our investment goals, and we've started doing some peer-to-peer lending through websites like Prosper and Lending Club. The Lending Club's not doing what they do anymore, but so it's been fun to start to find other passive income streams into our life, but that's secondary for us to the business side of things.
I remember being a part of the Lending Club. I still get their emails every once in a while. When you talk about building income streams,
Yep.
Would you give any tips on some type of risk or safe income streams, or what would you suggest would be something to look into?
I think it's really important to know what you're getting into. I have tried some different investment things, including real estate. One was a new construction thing back in 2006. One was a flip I did in 2007 and lost my shirt on both of those things. And I just was over my head. And I think in the name of financial freedom and all the other things that we get excited about, we can, in a lot of bravado and like faith, we'll be like, I'm going to do it. And then we find all kinds of resourcefulness to create funds and resources to make it happen. And then we lose our shirt because we don't know what we're doing. So it's really important that you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing. Don't be a maverick, especially when you're starting out. Don't think you're smarter than everybody else, because that's a sure way to get buried. Be coachable, be teachable, find all the ways into the kind of investment that you want to make. And I think that's even a thing. There's so many ways to invest. Like, are you going to do it through stocks? Are you going to do it through real estate, peer-to-peer lending? I would also say it's a slow road. I think sometimes we get impatient, especially in this digital age. So you got to adjust your expectations for this is plotting your way to financial freedom. This is not like overnight, I'm a millionaire.
Absolutely. So you talked about change. One of my favorite words has been pivot for 2020, 2021. How have you been pivoting your business when it comes to like going online or not able to do the traditional business stuff that we've been doing in the past?
That was one of the biggest pivots for me in my business over the last 10 years was so much of my stuff was to travel. I would teach. From there, I would invite people to work with me. In the last several years, moving everything online was huge. So all of my programs are done through Zoom. All of my content marketing, I have multiple shows on Apple Podcasts. There's just a lot of stuff now done online. Also, and I moved from doing one-on-one coaching to group coaching. And I used to think it was more valuable to do one-on-one because I treated every person as custom, but it really limited the ability to scale income. When I stopped thinking that I was the thing that was valuable, this is really important because a lot of people, if you're a coach listening to this, very easy to attach the value to you, because that's sort of how we think of it. Like I'm a coach. I'm the one doing the coaching. The truth is that the value you create for people is in the program or in the activities that you have them do. So your ability to design and assign the right tasks over the course of your program is the thing that people actually end up getting value from, not what you say and not how cool you are. And that was hard for me because for the longest time, I wanted to be the guy on the pedestal. I wanted to be the person that people looked up to and thought was really cool. When I realized that wasn't true, I saw how I could scale income by creating group programs rather than one-on-one coaching. That's really important.
That is really important.
That was a good pivot.
Do you see us going back to how we were before? as far as, or do you think it's like a change thing? Everything's online, virtual?
Maybe a little bit of both. I definitely think that people will enjoy, like, for example, I'm flying down for a conference end of April. I'm going to do some speaking and I'm sponsoring the event. So there's some people will enjoy getting back together in person for some things. It's really hard to explain the feeling you get when you go to an event. I know for me, when I get on a plane, it's like on the plane, my brain relaxes and I begin to think bigger again. And I don't do that when I'm stuck in my home doing all the stuff online. So I definitely think people will want to do that, but something shifted where I definitely think this is the new normal of people conducting business online. People in the past who would say, I would never go online, now know that they can find value online. So they'll now pay for online programs where in the past they would have told themselves they wouldn't. Yeah, I definitely think there's a little bit of both and here.
That's important when you're talking about creating wealth. It's like being able to pivot to where everybody's going to be consuming your content. Yeah. You talked about flying, and I was able to take a vacation a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I haven't flown anywhere, gone anywhere in such a long time. And it's definitely fun to get out and see people and be able to touch people and get back into a little bit of the norm.
I think it goes back to our freedom. Like there's a part of it that just, whether it's about being around other people or not, for me, it's definitely like, I feel more free when I can just go travel and do things like I used to do them. Mm-hmm. There's some normalcy to that feels good, I think.
Definitely. One other question for you. How can somebody find you if they want to work with you?
A couple places. The first is I have a podcast called 1 Million Messengers. If you feel like you have a message in your heart, something you really want to say to the world to change the world, that show is a free show, obviously on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the podcast directories. I first load it up to Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, you could also find it there, but that's just a free way to get to know me and spend time in the conversation that I'm leading in the world. If you want to sort of dig deeper into what your message is, I do have a free guide called The Essential Guide to Finding Your Voice. The Essential Guide to Finding Your Voice. If you try to get into business and marketing, saying what you think you're supposed to say, you'll sound like everybody else and you will not earn attention. What earns attention is you finding out who you are and finding your voice and bringing that to the world. So you could go to mygroundswell.com, mygroundswell.com/voice, and you can download that for free. That would put you on my email list, and that would be a way for you to stay in contact with me there. So I would say those are two places to get started.
Well, thank you, Chris, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. So cool that you're doing this summit.
Yeah, business is so important when it comes to building wealth. Getting out there, being authentic in your messaging, and automating.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important. I think wealth is one of the things we're all striving for because it provides more choices in life. How we get there, obviously, it's hard to do that inside a job. So having a business can create more income opportunity. And then obviously I know you're having guests on here that speak to the investing side of things too. And that's another vehicle. So super cool that you're putting this summit on. I think it's a really important topic and I'm sure people are going to get a ton of value out of it.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
To discover the secrets entrepreneurs are using to create wealth and legacy, visit bigmoneyinfluencerslive.com. And here's a big ask. If you love this podcast, will you take a minute to subscribe, review, and give us a 5-star rating? Be sure and share with your friends and family. And thank you for listening.